Is sharing too much about your love life on social media a mistake? Absolutely, but you need to understand why. So in this video, I'm going to explain. Coming up next. What's good, everyone? Mario here. Hey, in this video, what we're going to talk about is, can you share too much about your love life on social media so much that it hurts your love life? Well, we're going to get into that. But first, let me remind you that if you're not fully satisfied with your current dating or online dating experiences, I invite you to join one or both of my online academies. Both of them send out free weekly videos designed to help you level up your game. Now, sign up is super easy, takes just seconds, and you can do so by clicking the link in the description for this video. All right, now let's get into it. Can you share too much about your love life so much that it impacts your love life? Well, I believe you can. And I'm going to give you 3 examples. Now, just understand this about your social media. Your social media is not something that you probably give too much attention to. You don't really think about like, well, I included this picture or I made this post. You don't think about how that affects your love life. But if it was your online dating profile, you give your pictures a lot of thought. You give your written content a lot of thought. And when people are messaging you, you're probably thinking about, what's the right thing? What's the best thing to message them? So you're giving that area a lot of thought. But social media, not so much. You probably just not even 5 seconds and you're like, yep, posting that, sharing that. Maybe it offends some people, maybe it doesn't. You're not really thinking about it, okay? Now, here's the thing. It's all about preventing mistakes, all right? So I want you to think about this. When it comes to sharing so much about your personal life, I've got 3 situations for you to consider so that you can raise your awareness. Number 1 was from someone who was very involved in the singles group and promoting, dating the right way. And she was very much a leader in that effort. She wasn't an expert, but she was the leader in that effort. And she was very excited to be dating somebody new. And the problem was, I could follow her dating somebody new from start to finish. From her meeting this guy, from her first date to the second to third, to them spending time together. She was sharing every detail about, like, at the very beginning, I'm kind of feeling this guy, to, a week later, oh my God, he's so amazing, and we're doing all this, blah, blah, blah. And that sounds great. But then she's sharing pictures of him, and I'm just like, I'm thinking to myself, like I even messaged her out of concern. I said, hey, you're really sharing a lot about your interaction and getting to know this guy. You're tagging him, you're posting pictures of him, and you're sharing like your entire trajectory of your interactions growing and dating him. Is that something that you're really aware of, like that could backfire? She's like, oh, I'm just being honest, and I like to tell people what's going on with me. I'm very open, and things with him are great. And they were. But I want you to think about what could happen there. All right, well, what could happen is, for a lot of people, they're private and they don't want their business told. They don't want pictures of them tagged that they didn't have. Like, you don't want somebody that you just met and have been dating for a week to tag you and put you in pictures and tell things about you that are personal, even about how you're getting to know her and when you kissed her and how you had your date and how you wouldn't want that, all right? Some people are just going to be more private, and they're not going to appreciate that. And other times, some people that you're dating are going to take a look at your social media, and they're going to see what you did with the last person or what you tend to rant about. And maybe it's not something that they like, all right? So you do need to be kind of careful about your love life on social media. If it sucks, you don't want people stalking you that you're just starting to get to know and date. And they look at your social media and like, oh my God, this person has no luck with men or women. Geez, let me pay attention and look out for that. And once you know, next thing you know, things aren't going so well for you. And they're like, yeah, this person is screwing up again. Because they've seen too much of your social media that was negative, and it just didn't help them getting to know you. Now, the second example is one where I have a good friend, and she's amazing. She really is. But she's got a really strong personality, and she demands that her partner also have a strong personality to kind of keep up with her. She shares everything on Facebook. She roasts herself, she roasts her friends, and there's basically nothing that you can say that you can't say to her on Facebook. It sounds great, and it's fun, but it can be extremely intimidating to most men. So most men aren't going to want to be that open about, like her sharing such personal things, because what she's doing right now is she and her boyfriend, who seems to be a great guy and a great match, another strong personality for her. But I question, is he as strong a personality as hers? Because what they're doing is really sharing a lot of information that's personal, private, and a lot of it sexual. online in their Facebook posts and comments going back and forth for everyone to read. And that sounds great when, at first or at any point you might be able to say like, well, I don't mind. I don't care. I don't mind. We're just open like that. That's how we are. Well, one person is always going to be a little bit more comfortable. And I think she is in this situation. So I can see something happening where he gets pissed off or he has a bad day and he's like, yeah, that bothered me. Whether he says it or not, something might bother him or he might get pissed off. Like, I can't believe you said that. Because all it takes is one thing that you say that went past the line, or one thing when they're having a bad day and they just didn't appreciate it. Like, it just can happen. It's preventable. They're walking a fine line of eventually I see this happening. And maybe it doesn't, and I hope it doesn't. But I think we can all recognize that it's a risk when they're being so open that somebody can get their feelings hurt and get upset. All right. The third situation was going back to my past. I knew somebody, and he'd always kind of been somebody that didn't always get the prettiest girl, wasn't always accepted by them. And wouldn't you know, after you're out of college, you're free to become your own person. And he nabbed himself a very beautiful girlfriend. Problem was, he was putting her on display and she seemed to be okay with it. So I remember he posted a picture of her basically bent over very seductively and basically bra and panties. And even his best friend, a female, she was commenting on this like, why are you posting this? Nobody needs to see this. This is your girl, right? And his response at the time was something like, oh, it's cool. We're just really fine with it, whatever. And from my end, I was just seeing that, oh, this guy's just kind of show the world like, hey, look at me. I got this pretty girl. Me. And once you know, they didn't stick around. But I think that was a mistake. It actually cost him some friendships because people were kind of disgusted with how he was displaying his girlfriend, whom he had a child with. But they didn't make it. They didn't last. And one of the dangers of social media is that need for validation, so much that you will display your partner for your validation, for your need for attention, because that's what social media essentially is. It's us kind of filling this need for attention. Fill it up. Look at my picture. Like this. Comment here. Give me approval. And that's what he was looking for. So when it comes to your love life, and if you share too much about it, can it impact you if you're showing too much of it on your social media? Absolutely. Because the first thing people will absolutely do is they'll try and figure out your Facebook, your Instagram, and they'll be stalking you. Women, of course, we expect this, but guys are going to do this too. And if you don't think that someone has stalked you on Facebook, they have. If you don't think that men will do it, yes, they will. And they'll figure out ways to kind of, if you're kind of difficult to look for, they'll figure it out. So what do you have publicly showing? How much are you showing? You can look at some people's posts from our profiles, and even if you're not friends with them, go way back in most people's profiles, and the public information is out there. You can see a lot of posts. Imagine if you're posting about exes, about, oh man, men are no good, or women suck, or dating is so tough, and you could just be sharing too much information that could possibly negatively impact you. So it's just not the best move. Something you need to be careful with. So that's why I wanted to kind of talk about this subject and give it some attention so that you can avoid some of those preventable mistakes. All right. Until the next video, you all take care. Thanks for watching. If you appreciated the content from this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And male or female, if you're not satisfied with your dating or online dating experience, I invite you to join one or both of our free academies. We have Get Game Group Academy and Get Game Group Online Dating Academy, both of which send out free weekly videos designed to help you up your game.